Hello, this is Charles from C. Delano Photography, and chances are you've received one of those special offers in your email or social media about a special brush or a plugin that's going to take your photos to the next level. Well, I received one of those offers, and today we're going to look at Kelvin Design brushes. Let's go ahead and take a look. First, let's go to the Kelvin Designs website at kelvindesigns.com. You can see that the bundle that I selected for $27 comes with special effects, rain and splashes, clouds and skies, snow and lightning. Once you download these, they will come in a zip file and you will need to extract those somewhere where you can find them. I'm going to open Photoshop, but these brushes can be used in Photoshop Elements or any other graphics program that uses standard Photoshop brushes. Now you can see my final effects right here. I will turn those off in my layers palette so we can start from scratch. I have my background selected. I'm going to select my brush tool in the toolbar. You can select B on your keyboard to get there. And to import the brushes, you would go to the third icon from the left, click the down arrow, then click the gear icon and select Import Brushes. Now, wherever you saved your brush and extracted it, you would go there, click on the kdeffects.abr file, select Open. That will add the brush to your available brushes. Now I have already downloaded all of these brushes and you can see them here. I'm going to click the down arrow next to Snow and Lightning, and then I'm going to select a lightning brush. Now after I click it, you will see that the native resolution for the brush comes up in this size box right here. So if you're using a very large photo, try to use one of the lightning brushes that has the larger size as a native resolution. If I go down to some of these, you can see that that's only 507 pixels and this one's only 679. So it's best that I picked one of these that is 2804. I always recommend that you put the brushes on a new layer. So click the new layer icon at the bottom. If you cannot see your lightning, you can use your left and right bracket keys until you can see what the brush looks like. So I know this one's going to have the resolution that I want for my photo. I'm going to click on the picture and you can see that the lightning shows up. This does look pretty good, but it still looks a little bit like I added it in Photoshop. So I'm going to add a few tweaks to make it look just a tiny bit more real. So I'm going to duplicate this layer by hitting Command or Control J on my keyboard, and then I'm going to turn the visibility layer off for that one. And then I'm going to change the blending mode of that layer to soft light. Now it's looking pretty good, but I want to have a little bit of movement in it. So I'm going to go to my filter, I'm going to go to blur, and I'm going to use motion blur. And then I want my motion blur to be about 45 or 50, so it looks like it's coming from the side. I want to have the blur just a little bit more, so about 16 pixels on mine. And then it gives it a little bit of motion. Now I want to duplicate that layer because it's going to make it a little bit brighter. And then I'm going to click on the layer that we originally put on our image, which is this one right here. So it kind of gives it that purple glow on the outside of the white. Now I do think that this is just a little bit too bright, so I'm going to take the opacity down just a tiny bit until I can see that purple. And there we have our lightning. I'm going to zoom back out to full screen so that you can see how that looks. And then I need to add a little bit of clouds. So we're going to go to the cloud brush over here and then close this snow and lightning. And then I'm going to look for a nice cloud that I want to put on my image. So I'm going to click one of these clouds right here and then create a new layer once again, and then drop the cloud on this new layer. Now I'm going to use the left bracket key to make my cloud just a little bit smaller. Then I want to tap my cloud over the lightning. So that looks pretty good. I do like that. But once again, it doesn't really match my picture. So I'm going to change the blending mode once again to soft light, and then I'm going to duplicate that layer just to make it a little bit brighter. So there's Command J, kind of giving it that cloud look that might be over a city at night. This lightning and cloud brush was a lot of fun to use on my image of the city at night. I would probably give it about a 5 out of 10 for realism, but anytime you're using any kind of post-processing, you will always want to put in your caption that you used lightning in post-production and not try to pass this off as something real anyway. But it was a lot of fun to use. Let's look at Photoshop Elements for anybody using Photoshop Elements. Once again, you can see that you get the same type of effects. You go to the Expert mode in Photoshop Elements, select your brush. The tool options are on the bottom. You can click the down arrow next to the brush. Over here where the down arrow with the 4 lines are, click that. You can go to the Preset Manager. You can go to Add, and then you can add your brushes right there. I'm going to select Done. The way you add lightning to Photoshop Elements is the same as Photoshop. You would open your Layers palette, create a new layer by clicking this dog ear icon here, and then put the brush on that layer. I'm going to go through the rest of the brushes in the full version of Photoshop, but once again, these can be done in Photoshop Elements. Let's go to a plain sky. I took this picture of this bird with nothing in the background. It was a great photo for minimalism, but I wanted to see if I could add some clouds. Let's add a new layer. Let's go to the top. Let's add a different type of cloud right here. Once again, make note of the size of the brush. Find out where you want your cloud. Change the size up or down, and then click on your new layer, and there's the cloud. Now I did notice that some of the clouds do appear a little bit grainy, so if you have a real sharp image like this bird and then you look at the clouds, they are a little bit grainy, so the resolution doesn't match quite as much as I wanted them to, but it's still fun to put a cloud on your picture where there was not one. I'm going to jump over to the Kentucky State Capitol so we can look at some snow brushes. I'm going to take the visibility layers off there, go to my background layer. Once again, I'm going to click a new layer, go up to my brush tool, and then select one of the snow brushes. Let's close this folder out and let's go to the snow brushes right here. Let's click on one of those, and then let's take a look and see what that looks like. You can see right here that that's a lot of little snowflakes. I'm going to select that one, and then I'm going to use my right bracket key to make that much larger until it almost fills the entire screen. And then I'm going to click on my picture where I want the snow to fall. You can't really see it in the sky, but you can see it over the trees. And then that's what the snow looks like. It's not too bad. The reason I put it on a new layer is so that I can add a little bit of motion to it if I wanted to. I could go to Filter and I could use Motion Blur and kind of give it a little bit of blur so that it looks like it is moving. So I would rate that one pretty decent as well. I'd probably give this one a 6 out of a 10 just for fun. But once again, if it's not snowing, put that in your caption and let people know that there was a little bit of post-processing done on your image. I'm going to jump over to my next image, and that one is the rain splash. I had a hard time making the water splashes look real, so I'd probably rate this one the lowest of all the brushes, maybe giving it a 2 or a 3 out of 10. I'm going to turn the visibility layer off, click on a new layer, and then go to one of my rain splashes. Let's close out this snow folder and then go to rain and splashes and then take a look at those. These are fun, but like I said, they're hard to make look realistic looking. I'm going to use the left bracket key to make my brush much smaller. And then I'm going to put this somewhere over here. And as you can see, maybe I'll put this in a little bit darker location. It does look great if maybe you're not using any kind of colors in your water. Maybe if the water is a little bit clearer. I reduced the opacity of this right here just to see if I could get it to look a little bit more realistic, but just not really happy with the rain or the splashes. So overall, I would say I had fun with the lightning brush, I had fun with the cloud brush, and the snow brush was probably one of my more favorite brushes that I used. Whether this is worth $27 or whatever the bundle cost is up to you, but I did have fun using the brushes on my photos to give them a little extra pop. And then you could print those for your house. Please note, wherever you're posting your images, if you're not just using them in your own home, but if you're putting them on social media or a website, please put that your images were processed using a graphics program. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up and a like, and check out my other videos coming soon.